Hello everybody, it's Vinyl Rich here with a Vinyl Finds video. I'm going to show these in the most recent and kind of work my way back. This is the Electric Chairs, Blatantly Offensive, yeah, with Wayne County, the vocalist. Wayne County was part of the Andy Warhol crowd. They were part of he was part of the New York, Max's Kansas City scene. And he has a couple of songs on here with Wayne County and the Backstreet Boys. His vocals are kind of like in the Lou Reed vein of things, you know, almost spoken type singing. Really good. Punk rock record, came out in 1978. And yeah, I dig it. And I don't know, man. It seems like I can't get away from colored vinyl. I mean, almost most of the recent purchases I've been getting of new stuff, it's always colored. And here it is, a 1978 record. And it's on red vinyl. I guess that's the way it was originally released. And I've got these at Going Underground Records. And I picked up one other there when I was just this week. And it's Joy Division's Closer, their second album. Probably came out in 81 maybe, I don't know. Should have looked it up, but I don't do those things. Famous post-punk band. The store did have Steel and Substance, which is a collection of different material. When I go back, and if they still have those, I'll pick those up. Now, these next two records, well, I got one here because of the punk rock tag that's going around. Uncommon Parlor, a channel from Canada. I'll leave a link to his channel. He did the punk rock tag, which I was planning on doing. I don't know if it's too late to do it now. But he mentioned he was in a band, Ox Baker. So I went online and I found a copy from Radiation Records in Fullerton. And I guess they're the ones behind the Puke and Vomit label. And I picked up his band's record. And Ox Baker apparently is or was a wrestler. And the very first song is Don't Make Me Heart Punch. And I guess the Heart Punch was one of his moves. And it's 8-song EP. I think it's about 8 minutes long. And it starts out with this wrestler guy talking. But yeah, this is brutal hardcore. I don't know, it's hardcore punk. 2 vocalists, which is, I've always liked that when there's 2 singers singing off of each other. And this is what the labels look like. Now this Ox Baker guy, man, he's a trippy looking dude. He's got these eyebrows that go up and his mustache. Yeah, he's a character. And it was a pretty cheap record. And I figured, you know, let me look and see what else they have. And I bundled it with this Chaos UK, their debut. It's a reissue on Puke City Records. I have Chaos UK's second album, an original of that. And I always wanted to get this one, but I've never found a good, affordable original. So I figured, you know what, I'll get the reissue of that and bundle it with that 7-inch. And this is what the labels look like. And again, oh, it's on colored vinyl. Just can't get away from that shit. Pretty cool looking vinyl. And it's a pretty good album. I probably like their second album better, but we'll see, man. I'll give it some more spins. I haven't heard this one near as much as the second. Oh, and it comes with a poster, and I think the poster is just the cover of the album. Yeah. I don't know if that was necessary, but I guess it's a nice touch. And from the same record store, Radiation Records, I bought these online. And I showed these 2 records in my vinyl tag, which if you haven't seen it, you got to go see it. It's the best vinyl tag out there. And it's Schizos. I can't remember the question. Might have been the your best discovery from last year. It's the Schizos. This is the Fuck Iggy Pop 7-inch. And this came out a few years ago. But you can find it online pretty easy. And it's this Schizos record is different than the other two I have. This is probably their first record, and it's basically the singer and really primitive synthesizers and drums. And yeah, it's pretty it's entertaining. You got Pounding the Pud, and then the second song is I'm Not a Sicko. There's a Plate in My Head. You got Dog Beat, I'm a Bug, and then Cop Problem. Cop Problem seems to be a reoccurring theme because their latest 7-inches come back with a warrant. But yeah, it's really good. It's it's nothing. It doesn't have guitars like their other stuff. And it comes with this interesting photo, Schizos, and that's what the labels look like. And I bought that with this other, and I showed this in my vinyl tag. I think album with the best cover that you bought last year, and I just went through recent purchases and this is the coolest of them, because I didn't want to go all the way back and what records did I buy with cool covers for the whole year. But yeah, this is it's actually Satan's Cheerleaders. It's Vampira with Satan's Cheerleaders, and you got side one is both of their singles. They're 7-inches with Vampira, or on side one, and one of these songs may be unreleased, and then this is the first two songs are the Satan's Cheerleaders, the very first 7-inch, and two of these were from those recordings, and these were previously unreleased. But yeah, I mean, I have all these songs except for those previously unreleased ones, but it's kind of cool to have it on a 12-inch format. I have quite a few, well, probably 6 or 7 7-inches by Satan's Cheerleaders. It's an interesting band. It's hard to find out information on them, and it's almost like there's 2 or 3 different bands with this name. Now, when I knew of them, it was in the early 80s, mid to early 80s. And I knew about them from a guy that worked at Middle Earth Records, and he told me about them. And I went and checked them out in Long Beach at a small little club. And the drummer, it was a handicapped guy, and they taped the drumsticks because he couldn't hold the drums. They taped the drumsticks to his hands, and he played. It's basically instrumental stuff, kind of surf, garage instrumental stuff. And the Vampira side, she kind of talks over the music, like tribute to Elvis. I think all Vampira goes is Elvis, you know, and this kind of weird. And then I'm Damned. That's pretty funny. I'm Damned. And here's a cover of this. I don't know if you're gonna see that very well, of the Vampira. And you definitely probably can't see that. That's the cover of their first 7-inch. And this is the back of the Vampira. And yeah. And actually, yeah, okay, yeah. Mirror is actually sung by Lisa, the bass player of the band. Well, anyways. And of course, it's a new record, so this is the cover of the Vampira, the first one. And this is the cover of their very first single, The Labels. And pretty cool vinyl. And yeah, I dig it, man. Now these next, I think it was 5 records I bought. Holy mackerel. It's another record store in Bakersfield that I really didn't know about. My brother's the one that told me about it. God, I'm gonna have to change that sleeve out. It's a bit dodgy. It's kind of thick plastic. I don't really trust that sleeve. Anyways, my brother told me about this record store. It's called World Records. And he said the owner's a dick. He's known him for years. And that's all I knew. So I went there, and the first thing I noticed is you go in and it's the used stuff and CDs are right there. But where the new records are, it's chained off. You can't go to where the new records are, which I thought was kind of weird. Now, the used records, they're all closed in the plastic, and he had them graded, so you don't. He said that he just couldn't handle people pulling records out and looking at them, and so he actually graded the covers and the vinyl. And I was looking at his grades for the covers and what the covers actually looked like, and it was a pretty good conservative grading. So I kind of trusted his grading without pulling the records out, and it was. He does a very good job of that, and I actually kind of like that. And I picked up 4 used records, I believe. And the first one is the Nuggets. This is Nuggets Volume 9, Acid Rock. For those that don't know, the Nuggets series was bands from the 60s. A lot of garage bands, but they did have some pop versions. And this acid rock one is not really acid rock. I mean, you got the Byrds doing 8 Miles High, Love, 7 and 7 Is. You got Incense and Peppermints by Strawberry Alarm Clock. But overall, it's kind of the heavier side of you got Time Has Come Today. Very famous songs. You even have Porpoise Song by the Monkees on here. It's a really good record, though. But I don't know if I would call it acid rock. But it's a good comp, and it's on Rhino. And I was glad to get it. Now, this next one is a band that I had all their albums except for this one. This is probably my least favorite by this band. And Randall Weaver just showed this album, and he said it was his least favorite. But I picked it up, and it was about 3 weeks ago, maybe a little bit after Christmas. And it's the Traffic, When the Eagle Flies. This is their last album, unless they had a reunion album after. And it's my least favorite. I don't really like the production sound on it as much as their other stuff. But it still does have a Jim Capote, or Capilotti, however you say his name. This character. I mean, it's not a bad album. And I figured it wasn't very much. I figured, you know what? Just make it complete. And that's what the labels look like. Pretty cool inner sleeve, though. Pretty cool illustrations. Now, the third one I got here, I used. I guess I got 5 used. It's Eddie Harris, Instant Death. I had never heard this album. I have 4 or so Eddie Harris albums, maybe 5. In the 70s, you could get his albums pretty cheap. They were usually in the cutout bins, and yeah, this one is too. He's a jazz guy, plays sax, and I think he also plays trumpet with a reed on, built with a reed. But I always liked him. I don't think people take him as serious as the Blue Note. But I always dug this guy. His music is more, well, the ones I like. He was around in the 60s, but I like his 70s stuff, late 60s stuff. And this came out in 72. It's kind of got more of that funky groove, and that's the kind of jazz I like. And it's Pretty cool inner sleeve, and with the famous Push Push by Herbie Mann album cover, which I used to have. I used to have this one too, by the Modern Jazz Quartet. Oh, and this Herbie Mann, this is the one Herbie Mann that I would like to get right here. Memphis Underground. And here's Gary Burton. Very cool. You know, jazz fusion, Miles Davis gets a lot of the credit for, you know, starting the jazz fusion. But actually, Gary Burton, his albums with Larry Coryell predate the Miles Davis fusion albums. And it's on Atlantic. Now, the next two used ones I bought, and they're in the shrink. And I have this album, but I had to get this one because it's in the shrink, and it's Art Garfunkel Breakaway. It's my favorite Art Garfunkel album. This one and the one that came out next are his two best albums. But it's not only in the shrink, the actual record was in mint condition, near mint. I mean, it isn't mint because it's opened, but so I had to get it. And my other one's in good shape. I'll send it off to somebody, and I have a feeling I know who. But yeah, this is a great album, man. It's pretty consistent all the way through. All the songs are great. For some reason, I don't like Disney Girls as much as the other songs. But yeah, I believe when I fall in love, it will be forever. I didn't realize that was a Stevie Wonder song until after I bought the Stevie Wonder album. You know, I had this album before the Stevie Wonder. My Little Town was the single he did with Paul Simon. But I Only Have Eyes for You. Check out his version of I Only Have Eyes for You. I think it's one of the best sung songs ever. There he is there. And it's on Columbia. Common Columbia album label, but whatever. And this next one is an album that I didn't have. And I used to have it way back, but it was a victim of the divorce. And I picked this one up, and it has the price sticker on it from, I don't know, price sticker of $5.49. Remove and return data prog. It's got one of those where you can take it off and mail it in. And it's Willie Nelson, Shotgun Willie. Really great album. This was for me when he was at his peak. Redheaded Stranger. You got this one, Phases and Stages. They had another one of his that I probably should have picked up, and if I ever go back there, I'll see if it's there, and it's Yesterday's Wine. But yeah, this is a great album, man. It's not as good as Phases and Stages or Redheaded Stranger, but it's still good. And it's on the Atlantic Group. Got the original inner sleeve. Very cool. And I bought one new record from this guy. So I approached him and I go, can I go look at the new records? Well, he goes, what do you want? And I'm thinking to myself, you know, I don't know. I usually look, and then I'm what I see, I get, you know, I spare the moment type of guy. So I go, well, do you have the newest Neil Young? It's like that bootleg series thing. And I wanted to get that. He didn't have that, but he brought out some of the Neil Youngs. And I just picked this one. And it's homegrown. It's a Record Store Day release. That's probably why I got it. I'm a cornball. And yeah, it says Record Store Day exclusive vinyl edition. I don't know if that means it's going to get re-released or it got re-released later. It came out in 2020, I guess. And this is basically recorded, the vast majority of it is recorded in December of 74 and January of 1975. There is one song that was, I think, recorded in September of 74, and there's one that's recorded maybe in March of 75. But other than that, it's all recorded in that December, January. 74, 75. And it's in the steel guitar acoustic vein of Neil Young. And it's pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's a must-have. Man, that guy just started his car outside and it is loud. The first couple of songs, I mean, it's got Levon Helm on it on drums. Levon Helm or whatever. And the way he plays drums on this is pretty unusual. It's almost like he's a beat behind the song. It's pretty weird. Emmylou Harris is on it. I think a lot of it was recorded either in Nashville or Los Angeles. And it's got this little suitable for framing, but I don't know anybody that would want to frame that. And the inner sleeves has the information. And some of these songs I like. Love is a Rose. I knew that song. You know. And let's see. I think it's just on the regular, yeah. It's on a regular reprise. Now, I still have like 30 records that I bought from last year that I still haven't shown in Vinyl Finds. And I'm going to show a couple of those. This first one is a Swedish punk band. And that's the name of the band. I'm not even going to attempt to say it. I don't know if you can read that better. That's the name of the band. It's an 8-song affair. And it's sung in mostly English, but I guess it is sung in, some of it is sung in Swedish also. It comes with this insert. It's a 1984 punk rock record. And it's not essential punk, but last year I bought, not a lot, but I started buying some Swedish and Finnish punk rock stuff. A lot of that stuff has been reissued. And this is an original, though. And the guitar tones almost sound like the Buzzcocks at times. And this is what the label looks like. But the vocals are more punk rockier than the Buzzcocks. And it's not as pop sensitive as the Buzzcocks. But yeah, it's a good punk rock record. It's not essential, but for someone like me, it's, you see it and you're probably never going to see it again. You got to get it, you know. And the one last record I'm going to show that I bought last year, it's a Cramps bootleg and it's Voodoo Rhythm. And this is a bootleg of a bootleg. Because, I mean, this is a bootleg, one of their famous bootlegs. And you can't even see Nick Knox, you know. I mean, he's right here. And this is all from 1983. So it isn't even from this era, this lineup. You got, what is it, Brian Gregory, is that his name? Shown here. He was not the guitar player on these songs. But yeah, I was aware of this bootleg before. Its first 4 songs are outtakes. The next 4 are rehearsals. And then the last 4 are live. I've listened to this on YouTube many a times, and I liked it, and I saw it, and I go, I'll get it. And I'm glad I did. That's what the labels look like on both sides. And it is on glorious black vinyl. Wow. And that's it. I'll probably do another vinyl. I'm going to probably knock out some of these, get all of them that I've bought. I haven't been buying that many records. In fact, I've only bought 2 this year. Well, actually 4. The first 2 that I bought that I showed from Growing Underground, and then the second 2 that I bought from Radiation Records. I bought those online. Those are the only records I've bought in this year. But yeah, I want to catch up with my vinyl finds. But I do want to keep going, trying to be a little more consistent with my 10 best. And I got 1972. I got the order done for that. So that will probably be my next video. And I don't know if I'll get to the punk rock vinyl tag or not. I don't know. Take care, everybody. Blah, 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 blah.